When the camera flashes fade and the applause dies down, a silent battle begins. A battle not for crowns or territories, but for something far more eternal, a legacy etched in carats. We're accustomed to measuring the worth of royal treasures in millions of dollars, comparing necklaces to battleships and tiaras to squadrons of fighter jets. But what if, behind the dazzling facade of the world's most expensive necklace, lies a story not of triumph, but of abdication? And what if a seemingly modest brooch conceals a secret capable of rewriting an entire dynasty's history? Today, we'll set aside the price tags. We're embarking on a quest for true jewels to answer one pivotal question. Which piece of jewelry truly holds the most value, and what hidden costs did its owners pay for it? To truly grasp the profound significance of the most valuable royal jewel, we must transport ourselves back to the year 1947. Britain, wounded but unbroken by World War II, was living under a strict regime of austerity. Rationing, somber streets, weary faces, the nation was slowly recovering, and it seemed there was simply no room left for glitter and grandeur in this emerging new world. Yet, against this backdrop of widespread asceticism, the impending wedding of Crown Princess Elizabeth and Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten emerged as a national symbol of hope, a promise of a return to light, celebration, and beauty. Meanwhile, thousands of miles from foggy London, in the Indian princely state of Hyderabad, reigned Asaf Jah VII, more commonly known as the Nizam of Hyderabad. He was considered the wealthiest man in the world, a ruler whose treasuries overflowed with legendary Golconda diamonds, pearls, and emeralds. His fortune was so immense it had become legendary during his own lifetime. And this man, observing the preparations for what was set to be the decade's premier social event, resolved to bestow a gift that would echo through history. The concept was at once simple and brilliant in its generosity. The Nizam didn't commission a specific piece. Instead, he approached the Parisian house of Cartier, jewelers to kings and kings among jewelers, with an unprecedented directive. He instructed that Princess Elizabeth be informed she could enter the Cartier boutique and select absolutely any wedding gift she desired. This was more than just a gift. It was a grand demonstration of boundless possibilities and astute psychological insight, the ultimate power of choice granted to a future queen. The choice of Cartier was no accident. By the mid-20th century, this French maison was the absolute epitome of aristocratic taste, innovation, and impeccable quality. It was Louis Cartier who made platinum the paramount metal for diamond jewelry, unleashing the stone's full purity and cool brilliance. Their style, ranging from the delicate garlands of the Belle Époque to the audacious geometry of Art Deco, dictated jewelry fashion for half a century. Entrusting the gift selection to Cartier meant placing faith in the very best of the best. And the princess made her selection. Among the myriad masterpieces presented to her, her gaze settled upon a necklace the house had created back in the 1930s. This was no fleeting creation, but rather the quintessence of Cartier's style from that era, intricate, monumental, yet astonishingly delicate. By choosing this particular piece, Elizabeth not only showcased impeccable taste, but also a profound understanding that a true masterpiece transcends the fleeting whims of time. Thus, a legend was born. The Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace emerged not merely as a commission from a wealthy client. It became an act of diplomacy, a symbolic link between the fading era of Indian Maharajas and the dawning new age of the British monarchy. This was no mere wedding present. It was a bridge between two worlds, forged from platinum and the purest of diamonds. Let us, for a moment, set aside its price and its storied past. Imagine it now, resting before us on dark velvet, bathed in the precise glow of a jeweler's lamp. This is no ordinary necklace. It is a frozen waterfall of light, a river of pure fire captured within a platinum setting. Its architecture astounds with its complexity and harmony, a veritable cathedral of jewelry in miniature. At the heart of the composition lies an intricate central element, where Cartier's master jewelers meticulously placed 13 flawless emerald-cut diamonds. Arranged in a severe, almost architectural pattern, they evoke a sense of icy, geometric perfection so characteristic of the Art Deco style. Each stone functions as a tiny mirror, reflecting light in a myriad of cold, sharp flashes. From this brilliant core, a large pear-shaped diamond descends like a final perfect drop, completing the composition's vertical line and drawing every eye to its singular splendor. From this core, two asymmetrical chains gracefully diverge, woven from 38 classic round-cut diamonds. Jewelers toiled for months to handpick stones perfectly matched in color, clarity, and most importantly, brilliance. Unlike the rigorous central section, these chains are unbound by rigid form. They are fluid, alive. They flow and embrace the neck like liquid light. Every movement of the wearer caused dozens of these tiny suns to dance, creating an almost angelic halo of radiance around her. Platinum, the invisible hero of this masterpiece, contributes significantly. Its cool, aristocratic luster doesn't compete with the diamonds, but serves as their ideal backdrop, making the stones appear even larger and purer. Unlike gold, platinum doesn't impart a yellowish tint, allowing their true, icy color to unfurl. The incredibly fine, almost invisible settings, which securely anchor each stone, are a signature Cartier hallmark, crafting the illusion that the diamonds are suspended in mid-air, connected only by magic. This magnificent creation culminates in a clasp, a work of art in itself, adorned with a scattering of smaller diamonds and echoing the motifs of the central element. Its quiet, confident click sounds like a treasure chest closing, a promise of reliability and perfection in every single detail. Touching it, one would feel a pleasant weight, not a burden, but a weighty affirmation of status and the history encased within metal and stone. Herein lies the genius of Cartier, to merge the strict geometry of Art Deco, visible in the central portion, with a flowing fluidity reminiscent of the Edwardian garland style. This isn't merely jewelry, it's a sculpture. Its total carat weight was equivalent to a fortune capable of purchasing an entire street in post-war London. But its true value resided not in numbers, but in the embodied dream of beauty, resurrected from the ashes of war. The necklace's first triumph occurred even before it graced the princess's neck. In late 1947, a public exhibition of wedding gifts was organized at St. James's Palace. Thousands of Britons, accustomed to queuing for bread, now stood in hours-long lines to witness this marvel. And among mountains of crystal, silver and lace, the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace was the star exhibit. Reclining in its display case under the spotlight, it was more than just a gift. It was a message from another, almost fairy tale world, where rationing and post-war drabness simply didn't exist. But its true debut, the moment it transformed into a legend, was captured on film by the great photographer Cecil Beaton. Shortly after the wedding, a series of official portraits of the young princess was published. In them, Elizabeth, clad in a satin gown by Norman Hartnell, gazed into the future with quiet confidence. And on her neck rested that very gift. In the black and white photographs, the necklace appeared not merely as an adornment, but as a source of light itself. The diamonds caught and multiplied the studio light, creating an aura of almost ethereal brilliance around the princess. It was a perfect pairing. The youth and freshness of the 21-year-old heir to the throne were balanced by the monumental significance of the jewelry. While the pearl necklaces she wore for her wedding day underscored her role as daughter and bride, the Cartier diamond necklace became the final chord in her transformation into a future monarch. It didn't just adorn, it crowned. It was a visual symbol of the transition from personal happiness to state responsibility. It rested on her collarbones like a regalia, a testament to her new global role. The public reaction was explosive. Newspapers and magazines across the globe vied for superlatives, attempting to describe the river of diamonds, the waterfall of light, a gift fit for 1,000 queens. For the British public, it was a breath of fresh air, a fairy tale come true that allowed them to momentarily forget their hardships. Admiration mingled with awe. The story of the wealthiest man in the world, permitting their princess to choose any gift, instantly became part of the national folklore. But behind the public's enchantment lay a subtle political calculation. This gift was not merely an act of generosity, but also an act of diplomacy. In a year when British India ceased to exist, this gesture from one of the most powerful Indian rulers demonstrated an unbreakable bond and respect for the British crown. The necklace became a symbol of a new era for the Commonwealth of Nations, an alliance founded not on colonial dominance, but on mutual recognition and prestige. Thus, in the glow of flashbulbs, a simple jewelry masterpiece transformed into a potent political artifact. With Elizabeth II's ascension to the throne in 1952, the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace transcended its role as a mere wedding present. It evolved into one of the key instruments in the young queen's diamond arsenal, a symbol of her dazzling new status. While in its early years it emphasized youth and romance, it now became a visual anchor of her reign, embodying the stability and grandeur of the British monarchy in a rapidly changing world. Its true golden age had begun. It was in the hands of Elizabeth II that the necklace became her diamond signature. For decades, it regularly appeared in her most significant official portraits, serving as a silent witness to the passage of time. Fashions changed, hairstyles evolved, even the Queen's own features matured, but the river of diamonds on her neck remained constant. From Dorothy Wilding's early photographs, which formed the basis of postage stamps, to later images, the necklace was always there, creating an unbroken thread of continuity and emphasizing the eternal nature of the monarchical institution. It was her choice for the most solemn occasions. State banquets at Buckingham Palace, official receptions honoring world leaders, the openings of Parliament sessions, these were the moments when the Cartier necklace shone in all its glory. Its monumental scale was perfect for such events. It wasn't lost amidst opulent evening gowns and vibrant ceremonial sashes. On the contrary, it became the focal point of the entire ensemble. By wearing it, the Queen, without uttering a single word, conveyed the importance of the moment and the high status of her guests. This was jewelry diplomacy in its highest form. No notorious scandals or dramatic tales are associated with this necklace, and therein lies its unique quality. It was not a good luck charm or an object of superstitious veneration. In Elizabeth II's pragmatic world, it was an impeccable working tool. She valued it for its versatility, its ability to harmonize with any gown and any tiara, for its undeniable, universally acknowledged beauty that required no explanation for either a US president or an African chief. The necklace became so integral to her image that for over 60 years it was impossible to imagine it on anyone else. It was an extension of her persona, as recognizable as her ubiquitous Lorna handbag or her beloved pack of corgis. It was a silent anthem to her reign, majestic, flawless, and unwavering. This long and illustrious period, during which the necklace belonged exclusively to one, the most famous woman in the world, transformed it into something far greater than just a piece of jewelry. It absorbed the aura of her power, her longevity, her era. The golden age of the necklace is, in essence, the era of Elizabeth II, and each of its public appearances was not just a display of luxury, but another chapter in a living history, written in the language of diamonds. At first glance, the story of the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace seems free of dark spots. No specters of executed queens haunt its cold gleam, no curses cling to its diamonds, and not a single drop of blood stains its impeccable provenance. Yet the shadow cast by this treasure runs far deeper and is more real than any myth. Its true weight lies not in the adornment itself, but in the staggering price its giver paid, a price measured not in carats, but in the destiny of an entire nation. Asaf Jah VII, the Nizam of Hyderabad, was a figure steeped in paradox. An impossibly wealthy ruler whose coffers were fed by the legendary diamond mines of Golconda, he was nonetheless renowned for his personal frugality. His fortune was as colossal as the poverty of his subjects. And in 1947, this powerful monarch, whose wealth had become legend, stood at the precipice of a historical abyss. The key to the true drama of this gift lies in its historical context. 1947 was not only the year of a royal wedding, but also the year of the partition of British India. An empire was crumbling, and upon its ruins, new feuding states were born. The Nizam, a Muslim ruler of a princely state with a predominantly Hindu population, desperately sought to preserve Hyderabad's independence, refusing to join either India or Pakistan. His lavish gift to the future queen was far more than a mere gesture of goodwill. It was a subtle, almost desperate political maneuver, a high-stakes gamble in the greatest game of his life. The Nizam hoped such an unprecedented offering would secure him the favor and perhaps the political backing of the British crown in his struggle for sovereignty. He wasn't simply purchasing jewelry for a princess, he was attempting to buy a powerful ally. But history had other plans. Just 1 year later, in September of 1948, the Indian army marched into Hyderabad and the princely state was forcibly annexed into India. The great Nizam lost his throne and his country. His gamble failed. And this is where rumors give way to facts. The necklace's curse was no fable of misfortune befalling its owners, but rather a cruel irony of fate. It became the most expensive and utterly futile political investment in history. Every time Queen Elizabeth wore it, the necklace shimmered not just with the brilliance of diamonds, but with the haunting reflections of a fallen empire, shattered hopes, and the personal tragedy of the last Nizam. Herein lies its genuine, unembellished secret, a dazzling monument to a monumental political blunder paid for with an entire kingdom. On September the 8th, 2022, the curtain fell not just on one of history's longest monarchies. On that day, an era passed into history. With the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, an entire chapter in the life of the world's greatest treasures concluded. And for the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace, her faithful diamond companion for 7 decades, it was a moment of final farewell. There were no high-profile auctions at Christie's, no clandestine sales to an anonymous collector. The transfer of this treasure was quiet, unseen, and predetermined by the laws of succession. The very moment the world bid farewell to the Queen, her personal jewelry collection, including the Nizam's gift, passed into the ownership of the new monarch, King Charles III. A silent transfer of power took place, and the necklace, which just yesterday was a living symbol of the reigning queen, instantly transformed into a historical artifact, a relic of a bygone golden age. The emotional atmosphere of this moment was filled not with fervor, but with quiet sorrow. During the days of national mourning, the dazzle of diamonds gave way to the subdued shimmer of pearls, the traditional stone of royal family bereavement. Great jewels, including the Nizam's necklace, were carefully placed in the vaults of Buckingham Palace. Their light dimmed, plunging them into shadow, into a period of oblivion that served as a tribute to their sole and incomparable owner. For the entire world, this was a moment of stark realization. We would never again see this necklace gracing the neck of Elizabeth II. For 70 years, it had known only one mistress. Her departure created a vacuum, sparking intrigue. What now awaited this masterpiece? Who would the new king entrust to wear it? Would it become part of Queen Consort Camilla's jewelry wardrobe? Or would it be bestowed upon the new Princess of Wales, Catherine, as a symbol of generational continuity? The end of one era invariably spawns questions about the dawn of another, and the entire world, holding its breath, waited to see when this diamond waterfall would once again return to the stage. The wait wasn't long. Long before the era of Elizabeth II drew to a close, the Queen herself began to unveil the future of her legendary treasure. In February of 2014, at a gala event in the National Portrait Gallery, an occurrence that stunned the world of jewelry connoisseurs unfolded. Amid a hall ablaze with camera flashes, Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, appeared. Against her dark green Jenny Packham gown, something dazzling and eerily familiar gleamed. It was the necklace, the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace. For the first time in over 60 years, it was seen on someone other than the Queen. This was more than just an appearance, it was a resounding declaration. On the young Queen Elizabeth, the necklace had symbolized nascent power, a mark of grandeur and state responsibility. On Catherine's neck, it took on an entirely new interpretation. It became a symbol of continuity, elegance, and the future of the monarchy. The cool fire of the diamonds, accustomed to the company of royal sashes and state tiaras, now played under spotlights alongside a contemporary hairstyle and impeccable makeup. From a regal insignia, it transformed into an absolute fashion artifact, proving its timeless beauty. This gesture from the Queen was invaluable. By allowing the young Duchess to wear one of the most iconic and precious jewels from her personal collection, Elizabeth II sent the world an incredibly potent signal. This was no mere loan. It was an act of the highest trust, a public anointing, a sign that in Catherine she saw a worthy torchbearer of tradition. It was a silent yet eloquent lesson in how to wear history, how to bear the weight not just of carats, but of the legacy of an entire nation. The worlds of fashion and royal observers erupted in ecstasy. Photographs of Catherine in the necklace graced every global publication. A genuine marvel had occurred. The jewel, inextricably linked with the image of a 20th century monarch, perfectly integrated into the 21st century aesthetic. It became a bridge, connecting the grandmother's generation with the grandchildren's, proving that a true masterpiece doesn't age. It merely acquires new meanings in the hands of a new style icon. It was at this moment that the necklace's value reached its absolute zenith. To its incredible history, a gift from the wealthiest man in the world, 70 years on the neck of the most famous queen, a new decisive layer was added. It became a symbol of the future. Its worth now stemmed not only from the price of diamonds and its provenance, but also from the intangible value of this gesture of continuity. The Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace proved that it was no museum exhibit. It was a living, breathing part of the British crown, ready to shine in a new era. So, where is this treasure today? You won't find it in a museum's glass display case, nor will you see it exhibited in the Tower of London's Jewel House. The Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace, being a personal gift, is part of the private collection of British monarchs, not among the crown jewels belonging to the state. Today, like Queen Elizabeth II's other personal relics, it has passed by inheritance to King Charles III and is kept in the securely guarded vaults of Buckingham Palace. It awaits its moment to once again reveal itself to the world on the neck of Queen Camilla or the Princess of Wales. Its current status is that of a living legend. The necklace has definitively transitioned from a category of mere jewelry to that of a grand historical artifact. Now, every public appearance is not just a social outing, but a carefully orchestrated historical event, a message about the monarchy's steadfastness and continuity. It is no longer simply an accessory that complements an image. It is the image itself, carrying within it the memory of a great queen, the generosity of a vanished world of Maharajas, and the future of the British throne. As for its value, experts today estimate the necklace to be worth more than $80 million, making it the most expensive royal jewel in the world. But this figure is merely a pale shadow of its true worth. Its value is composed of several layers. The first, foundational layer, is its material cost, the impeccable craftsmanship of the House of Cartier and the weight of dozens of the purest diamonds, many of which likely originated from the legendary mines of Golconda. But the true astronomical price is formed by what cannot be weighed or measured, its impeccable provenance. It's a unique cocktail of legendary names, created by the House of Cartier, gifted by the wealthiest man of his era, the Nizam of Hyderabad. It was for 70 years the signature piece of the most famous woman in the world, Queen Elizabeth II, and now it has become a symbol of the future in the hands of the new Princess of Wales. Each of these points multiplies its value exponentially. This treasure cannot be reproduced. Its history cannot be replicated, which means it is priceless. So, which jewel truly is the most valuable? At the beginning of our journey, we posed this question. And now, having traversed decades of history, we can offer a definitive answer. The most valuable treasure is not the one with the biggest price tag or the largest stone. The Granny's Chips brooch, with its gigantic fragments of the Cullinan diamond, may be more expensive in purely monetary terms, but its story is one of family and legacy. The story of the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace, however, is the story of an entire world. It is the physical embodiment of grand human dramas and ambitions. In its cold facets, the desperate hope of the last Nizam, who tried to buy himself a future and lost, is forever frozen. In its brilliance, the joy of an entire nation, seeing in it a symbol of rebirth after a terrible war, was reflected. Its weight was borne on the shoulders of a queen for 70 years, for whom it was not a luxury, but part of her uniform, a mark of her unwavering devotion to duty. This necklace is a perfect example of how an inanimate object becomes a living chronicler. It has seen more than any historian. It was present at private receptions, witnessed quiet family moments, and became the focal point at events of global magnitude. It absorbed the echoes of laughter, the whispers of diplomats, the flashes of cameras, and the silent passage of time. And its story is far from over. Each time it reappears in public, whether on the neck of Queen Camilla or Princess Catherine, a new page is inscribed in its chronicle. It continues to live, acquiring new meanings and serving as a bridge between the past, present, and future of the British monarchy. It has ceased to be merely an ornament. It has become a symbol of the eternity of the institution itself. The Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace is a mirror in which an entire epoch is reflected. It is a time capsule, holding within it hopes and disappointments, the gleam of triumph and the quiet drama behind the scenes. It proves that the greatest treasures are not those that lie in vaults, but those that live in history. And in this cold, eternal brilliance of diamonds, the Nizam of Hyderabad's necklace has found its true immortality.